Good afternoon. This afternoon we are going to do lesson 14, Rules to Remember, part 1. You'll see there quite a bit, and I would suggest that you keep a notebook and pen or pencil and take notes as we go along. I'm Mrs. Swart and I'm going to be taking you through this lesson today. We're going to look at the noun-verb agreement. It's also known as the concord, and concord is not an aeroplane. It's something rather different, and agreement means we're going to look if the noun that is used and the link that it has to any other nouns are correct according to what our rules say we should have, whether it's singular or whether it's plural, and that will tell us whether we're going to use am, is, or are. There are a lot of other verbs, of course, that will come into consideration later on, but this is what we're looking at now. You'll see the sentence there says we're using and it is Janet and Barry are good sprinters. We've spoken about the verb to be. There are other verbs as well. The verb to have, which would be I have, he has, she has, you have. And we're going to look at this and see how we can combine this. Now remember, at the end of this lesson, you're going to do a quiz. And I try to always make sure that the quiz is linked directly to every single slide that we have, which means that you will find the material you tested on within these slides. So let's see what we have here. We say Janet and Barry are good sprinters. Why are? Because if you take Janet and Barry and you replace them with a pronoun, you're going to replace it with they and say they are good sprinters. And that is simply the reason why we know it is are that we need to use there. But we need to remember the following. When two nouns form one idea, then it's a little different. If we look at every man and woman, every tells us that this is one idea. So we then say is concerned. Each and everyone is pleased, because here again the two nouns form one idea. And here we have something that might catch you out later. Bacon and eggs is my favorite dish. Why? Because the dish or the favorite dish indicates it's only one idea. Macaroni and cheese is good too. One idea, that means that we use the singular form. But if we are speaking of these items as separate items and not as one dish, for instance, we would say bacon and eggs are both sold out. We have two items. Cheese and macaroni are both rather fattening. So there, remember, we have this clear distinction that these are two separate items and not one dish. Now we have or. And we would have the noun or the pronoun before or and after or. Or, either or, neither nor, note neither nor and either or, not only but also, not and but. And I want you to remember that you will get this sort of sentence in an exam where you will be asked to combine two sentences, possibly with neither nor or either or any of the others. You have to look at the noun or the pronoun nearest to the verb. I have highlighted the nouns or the pronoun that are nearest to the verbs in blue, and the verbs are in yellow. So Janet or the boys are responsible. The boys are. Is Janet or the boys responsible? And because Janet is closest to the verb, it is a singular. Either Janet or Barry is responsible. Neither Janet nor the boys are responsible. The boys, plural, so it's are. They are. Or in Janet's case, it would be she is, or Barry is, he is. So you have to look at what the pronouns say. If you were to change it to a pronoun, what it would tell you, then you would know exactly which verb to use. Not only Janet, but also Barry is responsible. Not Janet, but the boys are responsible. We know to look for the pronoun. The boys would become they. If it was the boy, it would have been he, and then it would be he is. It would be singular, as we see in the next sentence with Janet. Not the boys, but Janet is responsible. Then we're going to quickly look further. When we consider with, together with, like, including, and as well as, we have to look at the first noun, which is again highlighted in blue. And then we look at the verb, which is highlighted in yellow. So we're going to look at the first verb. So what you need to study here is the linking word here, or that's used that says with or together with, so that you can remember what the rule tells you to do. The boys with Janet are keen to go. Janet is the first noun, so we're going to say is. All the children, we would then say are in that sentence of all the children, including Janet, are keen. Janet, as well as the boys, is keen. So we have to remember to look at that so that we know exactly what to do. Then I always tell you practice makes perfect. Now you're going to click on the link below to complete the exercise and correctly identify the noun-verb agreement. The QR code is on the next slide, but please make sure that you try this quiz, use your notes, and I wish you great success with it. There's the QR code. Good luck with the quiz and keep safe.